Well, we are introduced to a new show called Star Wars Rebels, and according to what I have heard, it is a sequel to Star Wars The Clone Wars. Reviews coming soon. For the writing this week, the writing was really just like, it was cool. We get introduced to Ezra Bridger, which is an orphan, and so he, he's just stealing to survive, and, trying to survive against the Empire, and so he just happens to stumble upon the rebels, who happen to also have a Jedi on their team, and since this is the sequel to the Clone Wars, the Empire has taken over, and there is no Jedi Order anymore, and so that's pretty interesting. And I thought that getting to see some new people that probably, the younger generation growing up with Star Wars. I did not grow up with Star Wars, but I became a fan of it like a year ago. They brought, just the writing was spotless. I think where they could have done better was bring the fact that Ezra is a Force user. He doesn't know, but that he's a Force user. I wish they kind of brought that in, like, earlier. And Kanan is also a Force user. He's a Jedi, and no one else on that team is a Jedi. They're just normal people. So that's what I think they could have done better with this episode, was bring in the fact that Ezra is a Force user a little earlier into the episode, and yeah. For casting, Taylor Gray, who plays Ezra Bridger, he nailed his role. Yeah, he nailed it on his role as Ezra Bridger. And he really slid into it as his role. He just got comfortable immediately with his character. For Freddie Prinze Jr., who played Kanan Jarrus, I think he could have done a little better. Sorry if anyone is a fan of Freddie Prinze, but I feel like he could have done better with that role, and I was not impressed by his acting in this episode. And he was a little more, because Kanan had just met Ezra, he is a little more irritated, and probably what we'll see within the next 4 seasons is that Kanan and Ezra will become Jedi master and apprentice relationship. But in this episode, it's just Kanan has no interest in being friends with Ezra, and Ezra probably has no interest in being friends with Kanan, and so but other than that, I think he could have done a little better with his voice acting. Vanessa Marshall as Hera, she didn't have a big role in this episode. She was more of just the pickup pilot, didn't really have a big role in this whole episode. For Tia Sircar, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, for Sabine, she also didn't really have a big part. We obviously saw that she is an artist in the the group, and she's more of a supporting character. She was like more of a supporting character in this episode instead of, you know, one of the main protagonists. For Steve Byrne, who played Zeb, he could have done better. I think he could have done better. He really, I think for the character itself, is supposed to be irritating because Zeb doesn't like Kanan at all, or not Kanan, Ezra, sorry. He doesn't like Ezra at all at first, and I think at any choice he got, he wanted to get rid of Ezra. And so that was just kind of a, you know, just, I think, and Steve, he did great with his voice acting, and I think because it is the first episode, and this was like 10 years ago, 2014, sorry, I'm doing it late, but this was 10 years ago. And because it is the first episode, they had just come into their roles, and so I think the relationship, like I said, the relationship between Kanan and Ezra is probably going to grow immensely. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the cast. For special notes this week, we got to see Darth Vader in the beginning of the episode. That was pretty fun to see. As we probably all know at this point, that is Anakin Skywalker, but there is no really Anakin Skywalker. It's just this evil form, and, you know, to quote Luke, he has good in him. So that was cool to see Darth Vader at the beginning of the episode giving orders to the Inquisitor to pretty much eliminate every single Jedi, and they're like any child of the Force. So I thought that was pretty cool to see. Another special note was when Ezra was kind of, you know, snooping around. We got to see he found Kanan's lightsaber. Yeah, I don't think Kanan really liked that very much. And probably the best line of Kanan was, "Careful, you're gonna chop your arm off," because, you know, Ezra doesn't know how to use a lightsaber. He's never used a lightsaber in his entire life. He doesn't even know he's a Force user, which I think we'll find out in the next episode that he is a Force user. But yeah, that's all on special notes. I'm interested to see for final thoughts. I'm really interested to see Kanan and Ezra's relationship, and that to grow, and apparently there's some sort of love relationship between Hera and Kanan. So apparently there's some sort of love relationship between them, which Kanan is not supposed to have a love relationship because he's a Jedi, but there's no really Jedi Order or a Jedi Council to actually say, hey, you're not supposed to have a love relationship. So yeah, that's pretty much it on the final thoughts. Alright, you guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. I might do one next week, just to continue, because there's not really a lot of like videos to film because we're in quarantine. But stay tuned. I think for the rest of this quarantine, you can probably expect maybe twice a week where you guys can expect a review. And then once I get back, well, I don't think this quarantine thing is really gonna, I know I'm not going back to school anytime soon. So just stay tuned for the more reviews. And then once I can actually get out of the house and hang out with my friends and stuff, there'll be more of those types of videos coming back. And I might be moving, so maybe stay tuned for those types of videos. But yeah, and maybe I'll just make it twice a week, where like one vlog is literally just whatever I'm doing, and then the other one is the review for shows. So stay tuned for those, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.